Alright, seems we are live, so greetings world, I'm Enk. I am here to speedrun this quite a bit of an old game, Star Control 2, the Ur-Quam Masters. This game is from the 1992, it's actually a bit of a classic PC game, but probably not too known given it's like 30 years old now. But this is like a space adventure game with a real-time combat system. And it's basically known for like the combat system with a really fun like versus mode, and then also its dialogue and its like interesting open structure for a 90s space adventure game. So today we are gonna do a normal any percent run, but we're not gonna be skipping any dialogue, and we're gonna actually use there was a few years after the game was released on PC. There was like a 3DO port that had voice acting. So we're gonna have that and we're gonna listen to all of the dialogue. So if you came here for gameplay, might need to lower your expectations a little bit. But if you're here for some quality dialogue that's funny, then I have the run for you. So timer's starting when I press new game. So timer person, if you're ready. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we have an introductory scene. This the 3DO version has a video for this, but I don't know where to get it, so I only use the like original still images. But I can try to read the text myself, because this part doesn't have voiced narration. But yes, as you can see, this was released to open source, so this is the open source part of the game. So there were many great battles. Earth and her partners in the alliance of 3 stars against the evil Ur-Quam and its hierarchy of battle trials. And the Ur-Quam were winning. Meanwhile, on the edge of the known frontier, an amazing discovery was made. Far beneath the surface of an unexplored alien world. A huge underground city. Filled with the technological wonders of an advanced alien race, the Precursors. Who vanished 1,000 centuries ago. They're old, like me. But the main Ur-Quam fleet broke through the Alliance's defensive line. Isolating the planet, stranding the scientists 100 light years away from Earth. They waited hopefully for a rescue vessel, which never came. "20 years have passed. We, the survivors of the research mission, have colonized this world. We continued our investigation of the underground city. And we have discovered its purpose. It is a factory. A factory for building starships." Sorry, my narration's crap, but there aren't enough materials to make a complete vessel. We can finish only the skeleton of one starship. What is this poverty? Exploration, but that must be enough. Because you must captain the vessel. And return to Earth. To travel the great distance, you must push through into hyperspace. Find out what has happened over these many years. Tell Earth of our plight. Yeah, about that. And if the war with the Ur-Quam still rages. Fight for Earth and the Alliance, as well as you can. Alright, so basically that is it. I'm gonna actually name my ship just a bit. Not Rasta. Oh. How did I name my ship again? Oh, okay. Maybe I don't do it because I forgot how to do it. Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna use the default names. Anyway, so we have now arrived to Earth, and our first task... So this is the ship that we built. It's really slow, and it has like pretty much nothing on it. And we're gonna go to Pluto first, so... Normally you'd probably go to Earth first, but because we are speedrunners, we know where to go. Alright, so this is the planet exploration mechanic or screen. So usually you explore planets in this game quite a lot. Okay. So we find this interesting energy reading here. So, Mayday from surface. We have come under fire from an alien vessel we found hiding on the surface of Pluto. Captain, they killed Kowalski, Fritz, Chin, O'Donnell, Luigi, and all 3 of the Lieberman triplets. Oh no. We have returned fire, but our stunner can't penetrate the ship's hull armor. We are initiating emergency launch procedures. So, we found a spaceship and it had some defense that fired on us. And now we're gonna meet our first alien, so the game will do
attention,
the talking.
Green hostile alien vessel hovering overhead in an obvious attack posture. This is Spotty Captain Whistle. I know you are going to torture me, so let's just get this over with right now. The coordinates of my homeworld, Spatiwa, are 241.6 by 368.7, and the ultra-secret Spotty Cipher, which is known only by me and several billion other Spotty, is Huffy, Muffy, Duffy. Sorry about that little mistake with your landing vehicle. I was so startled when it approached my vessel in a threatening manner that my automated defense systems fired on it when it got too close. I hope nobody got hurt.
Alright, attention alien vessel, identify yourself or be destroyed.
Of course. As I said, I am Captain Photo of the Spotty Lordship Star Runner. Our sensors have tracked your entry into the system, which you are no doubt here to conquer. And while you are certainly welcome to do so, we would be greatly appreciative if you would please just go away and forget this star system ever existed. If you don't go, it will greatly complicate our master-slave relationship with the Ur-Quam, who stationed us here to watch over the Earthlings.
We suggest you immediately perform whatever cultural practices are customary to your species preceding death.
Certainly, most gracious destroyer. As is well known, before departing this mortal helix, all Spotty must complete the short brilliant ritual of Wadi Wada to be assured of a secure afterlife. And by allowing us to fulfill this requirement, you too shall be granted immortality in our beautiful afterworld, which is absolutely guaranteed to be free of similarly immortal monsters who would otherwise eat the both of us.
You may begin your ritual, and if I might make a small suggestion, be done in less than 2 minutes.
Certainly a destroyer of innocence as well-traveled as yourself must know that the formalities of Waziwaza are invalid unless performed on the large moon orbiting our homeworld Spatiwa, which is only 143 light years distant, and, if I remember correctly, is especially beautiful this time of year. Shall we go over?
I find myself moved by your deep commitment to your rituals and ancestral ways. You may live.
Gee, thanks.
So, what are you doing here on Pluto?
About 20 years ago, this region of space was dominated by a loose confederation known as the Alliance of Free Stars, which was composed of the aliens native to these parts who did not want to be enslaved. They made a valiant effort against the superior Ur-Quam forces. It even looked like they might miraculously defeat the combined Ur-Quam Armada, right up to the point at which the Ur-Quam totally defeated, indeed annihilated them.
So here we actually learn a little bit about what actually happened while we were on the planet this ship was built on. So what are you doing here in Pluto?
When the Ur-Quam Armada entered the system to subjugate formerly the Earthlings, the Ur-Quam presented the humans with the standard slave options. Join the hierarchy as combat brawls and retain some autonomy, including the right to travel through space, or become a fellow species and return to free atomic savagery on the surface of their homeworld, encased for all time beneath an impenetrable force shield. The humans chose the latter option, and so were swiftly imprisoned on the surface of Earth. But the Ur-Quam didn't trust them to obey the restrictions, so they chose a small group of hierarchy combat starships from the Inlet and Spartan fleets to create the so-called Earth Guard and station them at a base on Earth's moon.
Tell me, what are you doing on Pluto now?
Originally, we were stationed on Earth's moon, which made us Spatty a bit uneasy, because with each passing day we grew more and more worried about the sneaky Earthlings making a surprise attack. But the Illrat kept telling us that it was impossible, since the Earthlings had no ships or weapons whatsoever. That made us feel a bit better, but when the Illrat left, again we grew fearful, and decided to make a strategic redeployment to Mars. Later on we decided it would be prudent to relocate to Jupiter's moon, Ganymede, then later Saturn's moon, Titan, and finally here to Pluto.
What happened to the Illrat stationed in the system?
The Illrat contingent were supposed to be the toughest ridge crest, the most rigid flipper, yes, the backbone of the Earth Guard force. But they departed the system en masse not long after the last Ur-Quam dreadnought vanished from this region of space. They claimed to have received a direct order from their gods of evil and darkness, who had grown dissatisfied with the Illrat's passivity and wanted them to kill, or at least torture someone soon. Personally, I believe they just got bored and went up to have some fun.
When do you expect the Illrat to return?
Well, when they were pushing up into hyperspace 18 years ago, we asked them that very question, and I think they said something to the effect of real soon.
Alright, what is happening at the base on Luna then?
We decided that if the Earthlings figured out we had abandoned the base on Luna, they would be more likely to try something sneaky. So, we rigged up some old service androids and ordered them to drive around on the lunar surface in bulldozers, endlessly pushing around the same piles of dirt. In addition, we connected the base's local radio transmitter to an audio malnorme fun rum called Winky's Happy Night, hoping they would think we were still there.
What happened to the other spots?
Over the past years, it became necessary to redeploy strategically some of our Earth-Guard forces to our homeworld in case of a sudden surprise attack by a vicious, unrelenting alien race which we Spotty call the Ultimate Evil!
So, how many crew do you have on board?
Thousands, that is to say scores and perhaps even hundreds of my brethren stride through the corridors of this specially modified, super efficient, mass destruction-oriented starship, which could lay siege to an entire planetary system should we choose to do so, which, fortunately for you, we have decided not to do today.
Hundreds? Come on.
I am undone. You are far too clever for a poor spapper like me, and now I must submit to your superior alien intellect. I guess I am not revealing any truly important secrets if I tell you that each of my species' Lunar-class void ships typically holds 30 spapper crewmen, though at present my vessel, the Star Runner, is not up to full complement due to the needs of my homeworld in their resistance against the Ultimate Evil. And in fact, my vessel is somewhat understaffed right now, seeing as how I am the only spotter on board, which is a bit frightening, as I am sure you can understand.
The galaxy teems with threatening monsters. Are you happy here? Alone? Invulnerable?
How true! true, Captain, how true! In truth, just between us, during the past 7 years, I have been quite ill at ease, yet now I find myself enjoying your company. This witty dialogue, and the presence of your huge, powerful, death-dealing starship, which, being my friend, you would certainly feel compelled to use in order to save me from any hostile life forms who threatened me with death.
I'm sure you'd feel a lot safer if you were with us. Come on, FIFO, join our fleet.
Happy days and jubilation! I discard all prejudice and hesitations and accept and celebrate your offer of protection and your undying commitment to my well-being. I must wax melancholy for just a moment, though, and make sure you understand that any other spaceships we meet at large in the galaxy are not going to be quite so responsive to your friendly gestures as myself, since they bear more heavily the yoke of Ur-Quam enslavement and are also apt to talk themselves out of allying with a totally unknown alien, which I, having been left here alone, cannot do. Welcome me aboard, Captain.
Alright, so we got our first friend. This is basically what you do for most of the game. You find aliens and you talk to them. Some will join your cause, some will give you information. And like normally you would have to kind of figure out where to go on this large map. Based on the information you actually get. I'm supposed to save. I'm saving because I'm about to perform a difficult trick called hitting Mercury. So if I miss Mercury here, I'm actually like pooched, so the run's dead. The reason is that there's a time limit at the beginning of the run that I have to meet, and if I miss it... Oh, we hit Mercury, nice. Some applause, please. That is a difficult thing to do. Alright, so now we're gonna do a little bit more exploration. So, other aspect of this game is that when you go to planets, there is these resources you can find. So we pick up some radioactive materials and some other stuff, and you can turn these into money. So that's like one important aspect of this game that the speedrun entirely ignores. Almost. And now we finally go to Earth, so we're gonna actually meet this probe here.
Attention, interloper. Heed this recorded message. This drone vessel speaks with the voice and authority of Ur-Quam. You are trespassing within Ur-Quam space. This world, Earth, may not be approached for any reason, nor will hostilities against our orbital platform be tolerated. In addition, your ship does not respond to standard hierarchy identification transmissions, and is therefore deemed to be independent. This is not permissible. Only subservience shall be tolerated. This drone now leaves to inform the Ur-Quam of your transgressions. You are commanded to remain here and await the arrival of the Ur-Quam. Disobedience will be punished.
So that's the face of our adversary. That's the Ur-Quam, and the little guy in the corner was actually doing the talking. So they have like these translator creatures who talk for them. And we go to Moon, so if you remember Pifo talked about this moon base, we're gonna check it out. Alright, report from surface. We have discovered an alien base and have explored its interior. The installation must have been abandoned many years ago, but great care has been taken to make it appear active. Life support systems are functioning, fusion generators are at full output, and robotic construction vehicles have been programmed to roam the lunar surface, bulldozing moon dust into random piles. In addition, we have found the installation's hyperwave locked in transmit mode, endlessly playing the same alien recording. Although we cannot translate the message, our Xenotech, Ensign Rigby, believes that the message is some kind of alert or mayday broadcast. Which, if you remember, it's actually like a like a fun ROM, which is probably like a musical recording or some play or something. The base is filled with useful materials and equipment. We will scavenge as much as we can and bring it aboard immediately. So we figured out what's going on in the moon base. Then we're gonna go... Actually, I'm gonna save again. Because there's a mandatory fight coming up, and you can lose it to RNG.
Attention, unidentified space vessel. I am Starbase Commander Hayes of the slave planet Earth. Our hyperwave broadcast is extremely weak. Situation critical. Energy cores exhausted. Scanners and deep radar are non-functional. We cannot identify your vessel. Are you the scheduled hierarchy resupply ship? Repeat, are you the resupply vessel?
No, this is the Starship Vindicator, but we stand ready to assist
The
you.
Starship what? Never mind, look. We won't last much longer. Here's our situation. According to our oath of fealty to the Ur-Quam, we must maintain the starbase, but we have no space vessels of our own, and the shield prevents us from contacting Earth, so we're totally dependent on the Ur-Quam supply vessels for everything we need up here. We know there's a hierarchy base on the surface of the moon, but we can't contact them. The Ur-Quam were supposed to resupply the base at regular 5-year intervals, but we haven't received anything in almost 8 years. What we don't recycle, we can usually synthesize, but to do so, we need replacement radioactives for our generator energy cores.
What a coincidence.
If you could bring us some radioactive elements, we can fabricate the cores ourselves. Are you willing to help us? We're initiating
We are ready to
transfer
transfer
of
radioactives,
Captain. Now, as soon as our engineers can refit the energy cores, there, that's much better. Power ratings are climbing. Life support is coming back into the green. Deep radar systems and sensors are now online, and I can scan your vessel. What the hell kind of ship is that? Just who are you, Captain?
I am Captain Selnick of the Starship Vindicator. We are the survivors of the Star Control Science Research Team to the Vela star system.
Star Control Science Mission, huh? Captain, I served as a Star Control officer during the war aboard several cruisers in the Corward Front. And if there'd been any scientific mission to Vela, I would have heard about it.
The mission was highly secret.
You know, come to think of it, there were some rumors that Corridor 9, the Special Operations Division of Star Control, was directing some hush-hush operation near Androsynth Space. The Vela star system, yes, that would be the right direction. So, Captain, if you say it's true, how do you explain that huge alien starship you're flying? And why are you here? What do you want from us?
We have returned to Earth to give you the technological secrets of the precursors and to help you fight the hierarchy.
Ah, fight the Ur-Quam. Win back our freedom. I remember having such thoughts myself once, long time ago.
Then I took an arrow to the knee.
After the defeat, when it was still terrifying to look up and see the bloody glow of the pulsating slave shield overhead. Though day and night we gazed up at the impenetrable wall as though the sheer power of our hatred would pull it down. But over the years I spent so much of my time struggling, down on the surface, under the shield, and then later up here trying to keep the station alive, that I'd forgotten what it means to be free, to hate our Ur-Quam Masters. And now here you are, in an alien ship of unknown power, offering me your assistance to fight against the hierarchy again after all these years. Captain, your offer is intriguing. It's tempting to think that with your advanced precursor technology we can somehow crack the Earth's slave shield and reassemble the Alliance to attack the hierarchy. And this time, win the damn war. Consider the consequences if you should fail. The Ur-Quam won't just punish us here on the station, they'll exact a gruesome retribution on the surface below as well. Before I commit this station to helping you attack the Ur-Quam and accepting the risk of annihilation if we are defeated, I have to make sure that you and your ship have what it takes to oppose the hierarchy. I'll make you a deal. If you can eliminate the alien base on the moon and get rid of that threat at least, I will seriously consider your offer.
Yeah, about that. Serious threat. We found the base, but it was abandoned years ago.
I'll be darned. All these years we've been listening to their incoherent broadcast, and we never even guessed. Captain, listen closely. Long-range sensors show a ship closing on this station fast. Our computer identifies it as Ilrath, Avenger class. I think you've got a fight on your hands, Captain. Your best bet is to wait until you have point-blank range. Captain, it's jamming our signal.
By the fetid breath of the Dark Twin Kazon, a human and an alien starship. How fascinating. When I intercepted that Ur-Quam drone and learned that an unidentified starship had approached Earth, I never expected to find such a remarkable vehicle in the hands of a human. Humans are prey animals, weak and helpless. But here is a human in an armed starship, and therefore in direct violation of the oath of fealty. I am sure our masters, the Ur-Quam, will punish Earth most severely for this treachery when I present them with the twisted wreckage of your ship and your many charred corpses.
Where the hell did you come from?
Since you will soon be dead, I will gladly explain. We have spent many years gleefully preying on the Pakunk. They are a pitiful, easily killed species. And we would have continued in this divine worship of Dogar and Kazon, but we required additional crew members and repairs to our cloaking device. So we departed the Jiglass constellation and set course for home. But before we had reached our region of space, we detected the passage of a nearby vessel, the Ur-Quam drone. It informed us about you, so here we are. And now, you die!
Alright, so as he said, the ship usually has a cloaking device, but it's broken, so we have a chance here. So I'm gonna briefly show you the games. Yeah, this is exactly what can happen, so I got really bad RNG. I actually have to load the save. I'll just skip the dialogue, but if that happens, there's like nothing you can do. Because if it spawns close to you, it just immediately wrecks your face. Because it's like our ship is slower, and it's supposed to fight from like long range. But you can spawn at very close to the enemy when the battle begins, so this is much better. Is it better? From this distance I can also like just bump into him and use the bump to basically get away from him. If I try to flee from him, I'll just... Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have skipped that. I'll just read the log, so... yes, Captain, we'll do just that. Oh wait, this is... Sorry, I skipped some dialogue. By the way, Captain, I think we need a name for this new alliance we're going to forge. Since it was your idea, it's only fair that you get the honor of naming it. So what will it be? Which one shall we go for? We're gonna be the United Federation of Worlds.
That has a familiar ring to it. Nonetheless, we'll make it so. The United Federation of Worlds. Now, Captain, I expect the configuration process for the starbase to take at least 2 weeks, so let's get to work.
Hopefully I don't skip more dialogue by
I have
not
good
paying
news to
attention.
report, Captain. We have successfully integrated the precursor technology from your ship into our fabricator system, and as you can see, we've already begun minor repairs on your ship, patching up some of the micrometeorite holes. We noticed that your ship does not have an emergency warp escape unit, so our engineers rigged up some for you and each of your escorts. Now, you should be able to escape from a bad situation with the touch of a button. But there is a cost, however. The unit gulps up 5 fuel units each time your precursor ship uses it. Also, we now have a limited capacity to make modifications to your ship, to refine starship fuel, to build additional combat ships, and to train new members of your crew for the flagship and any ships you acquire for your fleet. Captain, I know you're eager to get to work, so I'll be brief. If you have any questions how this starbase works, what resources we need, or just some background information on the galaxy, don't hesitate to ask.
Commander, I have minerals to offload. So he basically explained like the upgrade system of the game
us, Captain,
just now.
the faster we'll be able to tackle the Ur-Quam.
Goodbye, Commander.
For me, Captain.
So here at the starbase we can get ships and modify our big ship. But we're actually just gonna immediately sell both of our ships. So now we don't have any ships. Then we're gonna install a few more fuel pods and sell our weapons. And then we're just gonna buy these jets that make us go fast. And then some fuel, so we can go somewhere without getting stuck in space. And that should be it, so... we're out. Well, FIFO is with us, but we scrapped his ship. Alright, so... we're flying out of the solar system, and you see I'm going backwards because facing up is good. And there's the star map. You can see it for like a few seconds. So normally this would be like 3.5 minutes into the run, and there's so as you can see in the map, there's a lot of stars. And of course, when you play the game normally, the idea is that you kind of ask for information, and you get hints about which places to explore. And while you like go around, you would go to planets and get minerals and find some alien life forms that you can compress into data. And so that's how you would play the game normally, and it's really fun actually. But because we know where we are going and we know how little we actually have to beat the game, we are not gonna be doing a whole lot of that. So this is the only time we use the autopilot, because autopilot is a little bit faster than normal movement, because if you move manually, you can only move the 16 directions, while the autopilot can slide directly towards where you're going. But in every other case, it's just it would take time to activate the autopilot from the map, and so it's faster to just move manually. But this is a really long flight. This is like a minute 50 flight, so it's like a minute 50 break, 3 minutes into the run. So basically, like if you start stream and you then realize that you forgot to go to the bathroom, you can play like the first 3-4 minutes of the run, and then you can go to the bathroom. So I guess it's good for that. But yeah, so we're in a bit of a timeline here. There's a place we have to reach by a certain date, otherwise the run is spooched. So that's why my movement had to be really good. Well, not like super good, but like if I missed Mercury, for instance, my run would be dead, because this ship has no extra turning jets at the moment, so it turns around like a train. So basically right now, because we only bought a lot of speed, it's even worse. So our ship is really fast, but it has the turning rate of a train. So we're basically flying a space train right now. So if you make a mistake with your trajectory, then correcting it will take about an actual in-game day. So when you are in hyperspace, besides listening to this banger of a track, you encounter, sometimes you see this like... Oh, we're already here. Okay, so this is the system we're going for. We gotta explore a planet here. So we are our first time being outside of the solar system. You could normally use scanners to see what's on the planet, but again, we kind of know what's in there already because we're speedrunners. Report from surface. Captain, we have located the wreck of an Ur-Quam dreadnought. The fact that there is anything but a hole in the ground indicates that the vehicle had some engine power left to soften its crash. Most of the dreadnought is just so much alien junk. We have made holos of everything, but I don't think it will be much of use to anyone but those egghead xenotechs back at the base. We have found one piece of equipment which is relatively intact. It is a huge hyperspace warp pod. The starboard unit, I think. We will bring it aboard. So we found this like space shipwreck that belongs to the adversaries. And now we're gonna go back to Harp. So now we're gonna do the thing that we have the timeline for, or the deadline for. So there's a portal in space that's open only like 4 days every month, like in-game month, there's like, you can see the star date up there. And if I miss this portal, the timing is quite tight. So if I miss the portal, like by even a few pixels, I don't have time to turn around and hit it. So I have to have a specific trajectory here. So this 14.3.9 coordinate that you can see on the top is in line with the portal. And we reach the portal, so this will lead us to quasi-space, which is a secondary, like, space in this world, which has some really good music. So this is like a interesting region of space that is connected to hyperspace through portals. And if you go to one portal from here, you will get to some location in hyperspace. But first we gotta go meet some new alien friends here again. So these aliens that we're about to meet, they live here in quasi-space. And they may look a little bit familiar to people.
Ha-ha! Our clever ward has found our nook in time. You are the first brave human. No others have made the trip. This is our home world, RRLOL4, nestled safe in this true space eddy. The portal you pass through is a rarity, a natural point of interdimensional fatigue. We use these phenomena to speed our transit through the realities. We are wondering, have you met with the Ungar recently? We entrusted an injured talking pet into their care, and we were curious about its progress.
You sound as if you know me. Have we met?
I forget myself. Of course you don't know me. You are from Unzerwald, not Earth. We are, however, how shall I say, related. It has been many of your years since I have been to our planet Earth. We are known among your kind by many names, some of them flattering, some of them not. The one we use most often was given to us by the children of the Celts, a wonderful culture. They called us the RRLOL4. More recently, we were part of the Alliance of 3 Stars, along with your kind until we decided to return to our own, how would you say, reality, when it became clear that your people would be safe enough under the Ur-Quam slave shield.
What did happen at the end of the war?
Forgive us if we forget the importance you attach to such events as this. Our context is infinitely broader than yours in scope, both in space and time. Nevertheless, to please you, I shall try to recall. Yes, now I remember. Here is the sequence. The Ur-Quam fleets have moved through your solar system, and you are defeated. Your people make the choice not to fight with and for the Ur-Quam. A shield is cast about your world. Your people are now safe. This makes us happy. The Armada departs your star system and moves toward the remaining Alliance members, ourselves, the Cyrene, the Yehat, and their adopted Shofixti. The Yehat and Shofixti withdraw to Delta Gorno, but they do not permit the Cyrene to follow. We are content with the flow of events and leave the area to return here. From our perspective, this sequence of events ends here.
Well, what about the Ur-Quam? What are they up to?
Soon after the Ur-Quam defeated the Yehat and imprisoned the Cyrene and Beetlejuice, their siblings arrived to initiate the doctrinal conflict. This battle continues as we speak.
What exactly have you been doing on Earth?
You desire honesty. It is given. We have visited your world for many thousands of years into your species' past. We have changed things, made modifications.
What did you change and modify on Earth, and why?
Our motives are multiple, our desires complex. Part of what we do on Earth is for your own protection. There are parasites, creatures who dwell beyond. They have names, but you do not know them. They would like to find you, but they are blind to your presence unless you show yourselves. The Androsynths showed themselves, and something noticed them. There are no more Androsynths now, only Ors.
Put a pin on this. No, this sounds creepy. Please go on.
No. In a way, ignorance is your armor, your best protection. They cannot see you now. They cannot smell you. Much of our work with your people involved making you invisible, changing your smell. If I tell you more, you will look where you could never look before. And while you are looking, you can and will be seen. You do not want to be seen.
Well, that is ominous. You said you had much to give to my people. Can you be more specific?
As you know, we live in a dimension adjacent to hyperspace, which we call quasi-space. Our ships move between these dimensions through weaknesses in the interdimensional fabric. Although many such weaknesses, or portals, exist which lead from our dimension, quasi-space, to various locations in hyperspace, there is only one naturally occurring portal, which will transport a ship from hyperspace to quasi-space. We therefore find it convenient to generate our own portals artificially, with focused dimensional fatigue rays. As a sign of our long-standing relationship with your species, we would happily fit your vessel with a portal spawner of its own. But your ship is so massive, our units would be ineffective. However, we suspect you may find a sufficiently powerful warp pod, the key element in a portal spawner, in the wreck of the Ur-Quam Dreadnought on the 7th world at Alpha Bonus. Bring that warp pod back here, and we will prepare a portal spawner for your...
There you can kind of see how the game tells you where to go for things, but of course we already went there, so we have it. You mentioned the talking pet. How did you find one?
We are an endlessly curious species, and we spend much of our time on, how should I say, reconnaissance missions. During one such trip, we witnessed the crash landing of an Ur-Quam Dreadnought on the surface of Alpha Pavonis 7. Normally, when an Ur-Quam vessel is disabled, it automatically engages self-annihilation circuits to prevent other species from learning the Ur-Quam's technological secrets. In this case, however, these circuits must have failed. The Dreadnought did not disintegrate on impact. We landed to explore the wreckage, and were amazed to find a survivor, a talking pet. As you may know, the Ur-Quam use these non-sentient creatures for the task of interspecies translation, a task the Ur-Quam find ultimately demeaning. The talking pet was severely injured, and we did what we could for the poor creature. But it grew clear that without superior measures, the talking pet would die. We turned to the Unga, whom we have known for many centuries. Their bioscience skills are far superior to our own. The Unga promised to do what they could and let us know how the pet fared. We have not heard from the Unga since. Perhaps if you are traveling through their stars, you could ask them for us.
I have obtained the warp pod unit from the Ur-Quam.
What a surprise! As we have always said, humans are a most resourceful and clever species. We are so proud of you, but don't worry that you shall have to wait. We are prepared. Even now, our technical personnel are equipping your ship with a custom version of our portal spawner device. The device is usable only in hyperspace. Whenever it is activated, the spawner will focus several interdimensional fatigue beams adjacent to your vessel, opening a temporary hole into quasi-space. Move quickly through the portal. After your ship has passed into quasi-space, you can choose any of the nearby portals which lead back to hyperspace, thus saving you needless transit time. Be keenly aware of this fact. The spawner requires a great deal of energy to function. We estimate that each time you use the device, it will consume 10 of your fuel units.
Right. Goodbye, my RRLOL friends.
Goodbye, clever child.
So we obtained the portal spawner, so now we can enter this like quasi-space whenever we want. It costs 10 fuel. And we use that a lot for travel because through this we can warp to different regions of hyperspace, which vastly reduces the time we have to spend on traveling. And that's of course why we come here immediately at the beginning of the speedrun. So we can get this ability to warp everywhere. So I'm now heading to the... So the hardest thing to remember in this run is which holes you have to go to get the place you want to go. So I'm now going to go to this hole here, which leads me to at the bottom left corner of the hyperspace map. You can see the coordinates are like very left, it's like 5. And we're gonna go meet our next species. So this one... We're currently in hostile space, so you can see sometimes these like black dots appear on the scanner. Those are encounters, so if one of those black dots catches up with me, I will have to talk with them and sometimes even fight them. And we have no weapons, and we also have like no ships, so we would be dead. Okay, so these are friendly people. This is a little bit of RNG. We kind of want to hit their homeworld without any of them contacting us before that. But it's probably not gonna happen, so we gotta talk to one of them before we can get to the homeworld. But luckily these guys we can just talk to. So these are actually the bird race the Ilred was talking about.
Stars. We are the Pekunk. Pekunk we are. Seekers of the deepest truths. Askers of interesting and significant questions. Even now, a question of great transcendental significance comes up into our minds. Who are you and what do you want?
Duty calls. I must go now.
Yes, by all means, if duty is calling. I'm sure we'll see each other again. Perhaps when the stars are aligned in an appropriate configuration. Yes, my inner voice is telling me that is correct. When the stars align, Captain.
What a banger team, by the way. The saddest thing about this run is that we don't get to hear the best race team, though.
What? A spirit voice rings within my soul. It tells me that I must give you something. Something to aid you on your noble quest. What, spirit? What must we give this young human? Mineral resources? No. Important secret? No. Starships? No. Then what is it, spirit? Spit it out. What? That thing? Are you sure? Okay, here you go, Captain. Take this clear spindle. It is an ancient and powerful device, built by the precursors hundreds of thousands of years ago. What does it do, you ask? I haven't the slightest idea. Auspicious portents and serendipitous omens have foretold your arrival. Welcome, alien guest, to the home of the gentle and playful Pekunk, children of the cosmic light, hobgoblins of joy, seekers of spiritual truth, and other neat stuff like that.
Perhaps we should introduce ourselves. I am Captain Selnick in command of the Vindicator.
Yes, we know all that. We are not known throughout the galactic sector as powerful psychics for nothing. Of course, we already know the answer to this next question too, but we enjoy conversation. Why have you come here?
We have come to your homeworld to offer you aid and assistance. The vessel and its crew are at your service.
I am forming a psychic link with you. I sense that you refer to our conflict with the Ur-Quam. I sense that you are offering to venture single-handedly deep into Ur-Quam space and do battle with their vast numbers. And I can see that you give not even a thought to the danger you would be in. You are noble indeed, and I accept your offer of aid. But in spirit alone, the karmic burden of your gruesome death would be too great. Still, I say thank you, Captain. Let us unite and form an alliance. We will provide you with all of the crew, ships, and resources you desire. We will give you... Wait! I sense that you are offended by our crass material offer. Yes, I am ashamed. Any warmongering species could offer this. We are the Pekunk, children of the stellar breeze. We shall give you what all others could not. The greatest of gifts. We shall give you our love.
Thanks.
You are speechless. Do not talk now. I can feel the energy connecting us. Let us part while the silence remains. Farewell. But wait, before we go, as a small token of our love, Not as a material gift, mind you. We give you 4 of our meager ships, fully crewed. Good luck!
Thanks. This is actually what we came for. So these guys are not mandatory for completing the game, but they will give us 4 ships. And we kind of need money, so we're just gonna sell all 4 of these. So now we open this portal ourselves, so we are back in quasi-space, and we go to the next region in hyperspace. So this hole right here leads quite close to our home. And I'm a little bit off course, so you can see how long it takes for me to turn around. So we're gonna go back to Sol now, and we're gonna... So basically we wanted to get these ships so we can sell them, and we can get a little bit more stuff. So I'm trying to land on... So one thing about this game is that when you enter a star system, the side you enter the screen on depends on your facing. So I often want to like slide to places instead of going straight.
I'm at your disposal, Captain. I know you're busy, but I've got some news. Good news, Captain. With no announcement, a small fleet of RRLOL4 popped into space adjacent to our starbase, scaring the hell out of the Deep Raider operator. But right now, I could kiss every one of those pale little weirdos because they gave us 3 skip vessels. Also, we are being bathed in a broad-beam hyperwave transmission from the direction of the Rigel star system. Due to the broadcast-wide dispersion, we cannot discern its content.
Alright,
Farewell, Captain.
Oh yeah, we need the light stick that they gave us, that's true. So we also got 3 RRLOL ships. We don't sell all of them, because we actually need like 2 of them. So we only sell 1 of those. And then we buy 1 more fuel tank. And then we buy all the turning jets, so now our ship is no longer a train, it's actually maneuverable. And we're done here. So you can see now my ship actually turns. Being able to maneuver the ship is kind of important for the next part. Because if we enter a hostile star system, there will be enemies, and if we can't avoid them, we're gonna die. So we go to quasi-space again, and on we go to the next place. There was a question about Star Control 3 earlier in chat. I was too busy explaining other stuff, but I'll take it now. So Star Control 3 is a very different game, and it wasn't even made by the same people, so it's not held in too high regard. I've played it once, it was okay. The combat is fine, the new ships are fine, but the story and the game systems are not nearly as good as this one, unfortunately. So we are now going to Mycon space, which is another alien race, but they are the enemy. So now we are in hostile territory. If we get into any encounters, we have to fight. And this is an annoying planet on the way. You can see the really small purple dot. If you hit it, you'll get into that star system instead of going where you want. So we want to explore this planet, but because there's enemies here, I actually have to kind of lure them away from the planet so I can land. And this is why we need the turning jets, basically. So we gotta go to this, explore this place. This is a really dangerous planet, by the way. I should have actually saved, because if my only lander dies, then runs dead. So yeah, I probably should save before I land these planets, because if the lander dies to environmental hazards, I just, like, I only have 1 lander, and if it dies, I cannot complete the run. But yeah, we found some eggshells on the planet. Oh, I forgot to read the description. Oh, sorry. Now we're gonna go to their homeworld, and we're gonna ask about, like, what's up with these? I'm actually gonna save here, just in case. Because while we can fight these guys and win them, if we get into a battle, I'd rather not. We can also now escape, of course, but escaping is risky. Our crew number there, the 41, is our hit points. So whenever you take damage in battle, you lose crew. So this is the homeworld. Whenever you go to a homeworld, you see like this massive amount of ships, it means there's infinite enemies. So even if you fight, you cannot win.
Juffawup is all, omni-existent, spreading and changing the non into Juffawup. You are non, who must become Juffawup or void. We are the agents of Juffawup. We are the Mycon.
Why are shattered worlds found only in your region of space? So the place we went was
These are
shattered
the
world.
homes of the deep children.
Deep children. Okay. Alright, goodbye, fungus boys.
You impede the flow of Juffawup through the universe. We will now remove this clog. We will now aid Juffawup by eliminating you.
These guys are not creepy at all. Alright, so I'm gonna fight with my main ship, which has no weapons. So I'm just gonna go away from him and then use my escape pod. Oh, nice! So these ships fire these, like, massive homing plasma spheres that get... They are really strong, but they get weaker the further they travel. But luckily, while I was escaping, it actually hit the planet, so I was not hit. So, because this is a marathon run, I'm actually gonna wait in this star system until these guys get here. So, because if I exit the system while someone is entering it, I will get into an immediate battle with them. So I will do this dance and just wait a little bit, so there's no longer enemies coming in. I think it's safe now. So I will now exit, and there is no... So everyone came chasing me, and then I can just leave. If in a, like, PB attempt, I would just exit, and take the battle and flee instead. But I don't just want to take any risks, because you can take damage when you flee, and there's some RNG in the game. So we're back to quasi-space. We learned some stuff about the fungus people. And now we're gonna meet our next ally. So we are now like really close to Ur-Quam space. You can see some black dots appearing, so if I see them, I have to avoid them, or I will definitely die. Because they do a lot of damage, and I have no way to win them. So that's one. Like, you can see this black dot here. I know it's an Ur-Quam because of its speed. So different races' ships move at different speeds, and I know when I see a black dot, I usually know which one it is by its speed. So we're going here, if we can. So this is a home of another race. Who used to be our friends, and we're gonna hang out with them now.
Attention, unidentified space vessel. Be warned. This slave world and its inhabitants belong to the Ur-Quam. I am Starbase Commander Talana of the slave planet Gaia. Your ship is not responding to standard hierarchy identification sequences. You are therefore classed as independent. And what? Is my monitor display correct? Is that a human commanding that vessel? Who are you?
So of course we have to have space Amazons. We're the ethics police. Justify that costume immediately.
Huh? What are you talking about? This is the uniform of a Cyrene commander. The climate aboard this starbase is maintained at a constant 22 degrees centigrade. What are we supposed to wear in here? Parkas? But you haven't answered my question fully. Why are you here? Where are you from? Has the slave shield been lifted from Earth? Are the Ur-Quam finally defeated? Simply put, Captain, what do you want from us?
We have come here to free you from the slavery to the Ur-Quam.
Look, friend, I appreciate your offer, but we don't want your help. Why? I'll tell you why. Because we're not going to do anything to antagonize the Ur-Quam. That's why. We may not like slavery, but it's a damn sight better than our alternatives. Below us, we have a beautiful world. Maybe it's not Syra, but at least it's a home. That's a lot more than we ever had before the war, before the Ur-Quam became our masters.
So, Commander Talana, what are you doing here?
When the Ur-Quam conquered us over 20 years ago, I was only a young girl living in Habitat 31. My older sister Diani was a starship officer in the Space Patrol. She was part of the final defense at Raynek. She didn't make it back. When the Ur-Quam caught us in open space, we all thought we were going to die. But then, instead of killing us, the Ur-Quam offered us a choice. We could join the ranks of their combat thralls, or we could be slave-shielded in our homeworld. Like the people of Earth, we chose peace. We became fallow slaves. When the Ur-Quam told us to return to our homeworld, we explained that we had none. Ur-Quam Master 9 explained that they had encountered this situation before, and if we would provide them with a list of our requirements, they would use their extensive astronomical data stores to find a planet for us. So we told them about Xyla, about the color of its sky, about the abundant life forms, about the fertility of the soil and seas. Less than an hour later, we received a terse message from Master 9. We were to proceed to these coordinates and disembark. This was to be our new home. But our new world, Gaia, was everything we described. We'd been searching for a home planet for 75 years, and in the end, it was our enemies who gave one to us. I grew up on a small island off the main continent, and like all of my people, we lived each day under the sick, red glow of the slave shield. When the Ur-Quam arrived 7 years ago to refurbish and recrew this starbase, I was selected as the new commander.
So what happened to you at the end of the war?
When we first met your people, we've been wandering through the stars for almost 75 years, ever since the death of Syra, our home planet. We joined your alliance, and I use the word joined loosely, because we had no other choice. The Vox were raiding our slow habitat columns, and we had nowhere else to go. We fought for survival, Captain, nothing more. When your people on Earth were defeated, the Alliance just plain fell apart. The Yehat and Shofixi retreated to their native stars and didn't want us to follow. The Ariru, those creepy little weasels, just plain bugged out, vanished, leaving us alone, with nowhere to go, smack in the path of the oncoming Ur-Quam Armada. What were we supposed to do? Fight? 2/3 of our habitat fleet was unarmed. Many aren't even superluminal. We were going to be annihilated if we resisted, and we knew it. When the Ur-Quam surrounded us and started giving orders that all ended with, "or die," we took them at face value. We obeyed. In exchange, they gave us Gaia, the planet below. It's a beautiful world, Captain. I wish I could show it to you. So don't misunderstand me. We love our freedom as much as anybody else, but we've got a good life here, and we don't want to lose it.
If you love freedom and hate the Ur-Quam, why won't you help us?
Like I said before, Captain, we would like to help, but we are unwilling to risk losing Gaia. Unless you can find a much more compelling reason for us to get involved, you're on your own.
Would you tell me a bit about your people and your culture?
Our species are almost identical, almost too close a match to be just a coincidence. Our bodies are very similar, Captain. Except for certain parts. Our cultural development is also mostly parallel. Like you Earthlings, we evolved a society from primitive tribes whose main function were to protect themselves from the large reptiles native to our old world. The main difference between our two sets of cultures, the split in the paths of our development, occurred in what would have been your prehistory, say 5000 BCE. In your world, the agricultural communities were conquered by the more primitive, but also more aggressive migratory herding peoples, This led to a particular kind of sexual and political dominance structure which pervaded almost all of your Earth cultures until the early 21st century. On Syra, our only primitive migratory tribes were confined to our mountainous regions. Their herd beasts, the Waimar, did not do well in the agricultural basins and plains. The two cultures were isolated until much later, when the technological superiority of the farmers curtailed any major conflict.
What was Syra like?
It was our paradise, Captain, our Eden. Earth is the only world we know of whose variety and richness of life even comes close to Syra. Again, like so many other things about our two species, our worlds were very much the same. At least before you began encasing yours in concrete and plastic. Syra's gravity was a bit lighter than Earth's, and its day was 50% longer. Our diurnal cycle is therefore different from yours. We spend 20 hours awake, followed by 10 hours horizontal.
What happened to Syra?
This subject is very difficult for us, Captain, but I will try to recount those sad days. Like your solar system, ours had a large population of comets and asteroids. Large meteor impacts, though rare, were not unheard of on our planet. So it was not a total shock when an asteroid penetrated our atmosphere and hit the surface. What was odd was that unlike most other meteors, this one was not pulverized on impact. It penetrated the crust, and indeed went all the way through to the mantle, causing a supervolcano. The earthquakes caused by the impact were severe. The magma pumped out of the caldera wreaked significant damage on the nearby terrain, but within a few weeks it had cooled, forming a solid rock bandage over the wound. Within a few months, we had cleaned up the mess. The caldera was calming down nicely, and things were pretty much back to normal. Then, just over a year after the impact, all hell broke loose on the surface of Syra. Huge calderas were opening all over, not just around the meteor impact, but everywhere. The scope of the disaster is impossible to imagine. Entire cities sliding into oceans of molten lava, kilometer-wide sections of land pulverized by a cataclysmic explosion, and clouds of poison gas and superheated steam created a death shroud around Syra.
Alana, have you ever heard of the Deep Children?
Yes, I think so. Aren't they part of the Mycon religion somehow? We have recordings of Mycon hyperwave transmissions from the war. Pretty weird stuff. The Mycons just kind of rambled, never making much sense. They talked a lot about deep children and spears of light, but we couldn't ever understand what they were talking about.
What if I told you that the Mycon Deep Children shatter planets to crusts, like your Syra?
What? What did you say? Human, you had better not be joking. Syra is not a subject for Earth humor. Now, what do you mean, shattered planet crusts? How? That is what happened to Syra, yes, but we presumed it was a natural cataclysm, a meteor. Do you have proof that it was something else? These deep children?
Talana, I have brought proof that the Mycon Deep Children destroyed your world, Syra.
Let me see this proof, Captain.
Look at these fungal egg sacs. We found them near a crystal puncture on a shattered world.
Great guys! These fragments, they are identical to the debris we found near the punctures on Syra. We never guessed that the fragments might be organic. To have survived re-entry, nothing organic would remain. Unless it was genetically constructed for this purpose. And only the Mycons possess this capability. The Mycons will pay dearly for their crimes. We will not sit here and do nothing while the Mycon fiends are free to roam the galaxy, perpetrating their evil. You wanted our cooperation in fighting the Ur-Quam. You've got it. provided you first help us seek our revenge against the Mycon race. Help us to destroy them.
Okay, so what do you want us to do?
Our first step is to get some mobility. We have some fine starship officers aboard, and they're all eager to go after the Mycons. But without our penetrator starships, we're totally ineffectual. So our first step has to be recovering our Space Patrol combat fleet. We know that the Ur-Quam didn't destroy them. They never waste anything. But we believe they have sealed them in some kind of deep vault in the surface of an alien planet.
Do you know where your ships are?
No, that's your job. But maybe we have some clues to help you find them. The starship officers who flew the penetrators to the vault did so with total sensor blackout. The only thing they could use for navigation was the presence of the dreadnought fleet surrounding them. When they arrived at their destination and lowered their ships into the immense vault, they were transported to the dreadnoughts and only caught a split-second glimpse of the outside world. As far as they could tell, the sun was either red or orange. Based on the trip time calculations, the farthest they could have traveled is about 200 hyperspace distance units. Captain, we've assembled a small team of our most skilled officers. We will send them to your ship on board their own small shuttle. We feel that in the interest of efficiency, we keep our officers away from your crew at least until the mission is over. As soon as you arrive at the vault, our people will take over, figure out a way to open the vault, and bring our penetrators back here.
Very well then, Commander Talana. I'm on my way.
Good luck, brave Earthling. When your mission is successful, maybe then we can get to know each other better.
Okay, yes. No, the game's not controlled by voice. I'm just reading the lines, so we get the full voice experience with the game talking back to me. Alright, so basically the reason we went to the Mycon space was we needed the information and evidence to convince the Siren to help us. And now we are flying to our next objective. So once again, we are just like going around because we know where everything is. Normally you'd be just probably at this stage of the game just like traveling around trying to gather clues, but we know where to go. This part is a little bit RNG because we have to go to the star system, and we hope that there is one representative of the race here. There's not, so I'm actually gonna go back to hyperspace. I think the black dot that's approaching is one of them. I'm actually just gonna save in case. So I need to talk to them before I go to a certain planet. So here's if you put a pin on what the RLOL said about a race, they will call the odds, and this is them.
This is a system message from ship's computer translation subsystem. Incoming message, extremely unusual in composition. Translation includes many lingual anomalies. Overall accuracy of translation is unknown.
Hello, Extremely. I hope you like to play. Some campers are not so good for games. Is it time for playing yet?
Greetings, I am Captain Selnick of the Stars Vindicator. We are having some difficulty translating your messages.
Yes, of course. Difficulty. Problems are difficult. Let's be special together.
Monka.
Spicy games are always
Monka.
fun.
Stop, this is a PG stream. You seem like friendly fellows. Perhaps you could aid us in our mission?
Yes. We are too friendly. Extremely happy sisters should correct each other for celebration.
Okay.
So much enjoyment. Shall we come to your house so that we can be
that's a bit sudden. Can we talk about this? I presume you are talking about an alliance. Yes, we are very interested.
Jumping peppers. This is Smiley time. You are campers after all. We will start alliance parties for better enjoyment.
Alright, so we made new friends, question mark. Yeah, they're definitely using Google Translate. Or, it's actually our ship using Google Translate. So we have auto translator. So now we can go to this moon here. Again, I wanna aim specifically so I am as close to the moon as possible.
Happy pieces! I am squirting nice colors.
Okay.
Why? The reason. Camper friends have come to Talo Playground. Why are you coming to this?
Would you mind if we did a bit of exploring on the planet's surface?
You are asked if oars are upset. Oars are not upset. You are happy campers. Certainly, you are only slow-time walkers. It is not fun on the surface in slow time. If you want to go, that is okay.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go. Alright, so we gotta just briefly get something from this planet. I'll try to remember to read what it is this time. Captain, we have found an unusual glowing rock thing here on the surface. When we first noticed it, we thought it was a naturally flourishing igneous dike? What is that word? But upon closer observation, we can only conclude that this object is artificial in origin. Talo design. Those guys sure built to last. Simple radiometrics show an age in excess of 20,000 years. Regardless of how old it is, it continues to radiate energy all up and down the EMR spectrum, with a concentration of emissions in the red infrared range. Even though it weighs a ton, we will definitely lock this puppy up to the ship. One last comment before I sign off. Ensigns Hodgkins and Witherspoon have both reported extreme headaches and mental disarray whenever they approach the Talo device. None of the rest of us have any problems, so either the ensigns are just being babies, or the Talo device products some kind of shield that affects only certain people's minds. Maybe the scientist back at the starbase will tell us more. End of report. So we came for this shield. It's a shield that prevents mind control. Actually, it's gonna be rather important later, but that's our business here. So we met the odds and we are out. And our next objective is to go to another region of space. So, no wait, we're not going here yet. We're going, wait, I forgot. Sorry, I gotta look up because I've been talking too much and I forgot which part of the run we are in. Yeah, so, sorry. Oh yeah, it's... I got a little bit ahead of myself, so we're supposed to go to this wormhole here. I skipped the split, basically. So we are now in really dangerous space, so I'm definitely gonna save. If I get caught here, I am really dead. So we were talking about the siren ships. Holy shit, there's a lot of them. So I gotta be really careful here. I cannot get into fights with these guys. They will absolutely destroy us. That's why I saved. So we are like, we were the siren Talana was this. Holy shit, there's even more. It's like the most ships I've ever seen in this system. Yeah, I gotta pull all of them to this. Even more, yikes. Yeah, okay, so now I can land to the moon before they catch me. Yeah, so we are getting the ships that the Siren were talking about. They're penetrators. The Space Amazons have a ship called Penetrator. We have opened the subterranean vault which contained the Siren Space Patrol Penetrator starships. The Siren captains have assumed command of their vessels and instructed us to rendezvous with them back at Betelgeuse. And that is it. So we found the ships, and now we can leave. I think that's all of the ships in the system because there's only 2 planets. So it should be safe to leave. Nice. Alright, so now we're gonna actually fly manually a little bit through space. We're gonna fly back to Betelgeuse. So we're gonna finalize our deal with the Siren Commander. We also have the opportunity to get to know her better. Which, should we do it? It's optional, but we are like 2 hours ahead of schedule, so maybe we can have some hot 90s space erotica scenes, something like that. Well, the lights are off, so it shouldn't interfere with the safety guidelines or anything. Yeah, I think we can just witness the manga scene here while we're at it.
Good. Now we can proceed with our plan for revenge against the Mycon. From our analysis of the deep child fragments you showed to us, and a review of the recorded Mycon transmissions from the war, we've established the kind of world the Mycons desire for their hideous, deep children. They need a planet like your Earth, or our Syra, one rich in water and oxygen, and possessing a molten, active mantle. Our plan is to lure the Mycons to such a planet, and then attack them when they least expect it. We know of just such a world. When the Ur-Quam were analyzing their massive planetary data to find a new home for my people, one of the close candidates, ranked just below Gaia, was a blue world orbiting close to the star Organon. Captain, we need your services again. Here is what you must do. You must go to the Mycon and tell them of this world. They will find that the world is suitable. And when they go to Organon, we shall be there, waiting for them.
Alright, so we can say goodbye here, but
we can also destroy them.
We can also, what if I die doing all this dangerous stuff? What about us?
I'm afraid both our duties will be dangerous, Captain. We may never see each other again. But for now, at least, there's this. That's more like it.
What's going on?
Now, let me help you off with this. Yes. Now, aren't you a lot more comfortable?
Why are the lights off?
Because, my darling, if the light was on, I couldn't do this. Or this. Or this. Or, this.
You're not gonna turn into some weird alien monster now and bite my head off, are you?
An alien monster? Me? Me?
Why, Captain? Why ever do you say that?
You didn't know about this.
Just kidding.
Very funny. Look, I'd be more comfortable if we just turn the lights back on. I see. Well, in the spirit of interspecies communication, let me just say, Kawabunga!
Oh, say that word again. It makes me feel so excited. It makes me want to do something nice for you. Like this. And this.
Kawabunga!
And especially this.
What happens if I do this?
Does that answer your question?
Kawabunga! Oh boy, they never taught me stuff like this back at the Underworld.
Then let me teach you what you need to know. We will begin with the fundamentals of basic Siren physiology.
Are you sure this is okay? I'm nervous.
Please don't worry, my darling human. We have all the time in the world, and my door locks securely.
I guess I don't have much more to say, do I?
Then stop wasting your lips on words, you silly fool, and come here.
Several hours later.
Goodbye, Captain Darling. We each have our jobs to do. Now you must go. But you will remain always in my mind and heart and deep within me. I know that someday, when all this madness has come to an end, we will be together like this again.
Yeah, so this game went there way earlier than Mass Effect. Actually, I'm curious. No, Mass Effect actually is inspired a lot by this game, pretty surely. Maybe not like in this sense, but like the space exploration on Mass Effect, especially on I think 2, is kind of similar actually. Okay, so now we are going where I was trying to go earlier. Yeah, that was not a mandatory scene. I just wanted to include it for, you know, it was 90s, it was what it was. So we're going to another planet here. This would be something you would probably not find easily on your own. This is also like part of a quest that has 3 different solutions, so this is just one of the solutions. So we're gonna go to this planet here and pick up another artifact or device. There's some life forms here. Normally there's sometimes there's like biological life form in planets, and you can shoot them and gather data from them when you stun them. And that's another form of currency in the game, but we don't do anything with it in the speedrun. We have found an immensely powerful hyperwave transmitter here on the surface of this moon. It is sending a strong hyperwave signal outward into the unexplored anti-spinward region of the galaxy. Since this equipment is extremely valuable, we have found no sign of any intelligent life on this moon. We have decided to disassemble the transmitter and bring it back to the ship. So we found a really strong transmitter, basically. And we're gonna do something really fun with it. You're not gonna see the explanation of what I'm doing because we skipped the part of the game that explains it. But I'll explain it afterwards because it's kind of funny. So we're gonna go to a specific planet or star system where we have to use this device. So if you remember the eel rat that came to pester us at the beginning of the game, we're gonna go a little bit above their region of space. And we're gonna use the caster. So the lore that if you actually like learn about this from another quest line, it's like so there's the other race called Umga, which was mentioned briefly. They're like big pranksters, and actually what they do, like one of their pranks is using the these like strong hyperwave communicators to do exactly what we're gonna do. So the eel rat, basically they worship the gods Kazon and Dogar or whatever, and little do they know, it's actually the Umga.
It is the hideous and inspiring voices of our gods, Dogar and Kazon. Oh, great gods of evil and darkness. What can your humble and devious servants do for you?
Heed these words, our evil children. Leave this place. Seek new prey.
Oh, mighty Dogar. Oh, mighty Kazon. Your devoted servants hear your words and obey your divine and cruel insights. The Pakunk are unfit for our sacramental tortures. We relish the prospect of killing worthy prey. We will leave immediately so that we can begin our glorious evil devotions. But who shall we prey upon next? Who shall suffer our inspired torment? Didn't those loathsome Umga once mention a race near their region of space? Yes, I have it. The Thradash. We will go now and kill all of them.
We return now to the fetid darkness. Obey our commands.
Farewell, Dogar and Kazan. We are awed by your malevolent presence, and swear unto you to commit even more violent, treacherous deeds tomorrow than we did today.
Yeah, bye. So we basically just played their gods. Because their gods are just voices from a hyperwave caster. And that was that. So basically we actually saved the Kunk now, because they, if you let the game just go on, the Ilrat will actually attack the Kunk at some point and they will destroy them. So this game actually, like, if you wait too long, some things actually become unavailable. Because some races are, like, destroyed by the evil races. But we basically tricked them into going against another race, which is really far from the Kunk. So we saved the Kunk. We don't need to save the Kunk, but we did. There's another reason why we do that thing.
Attention, alien starship. You have arrived at the central trade world of the Crimson Corporation, home of the Druge. Be welcome and take advantage of our excellent deal. We know that you have Mycon Deep Child egg case fragments aboard your vessel. Would you consider trading them to us for a shiny new Muller starship? Our sensors reveal that you have one of our more powerful hyperwave casters on board your ship. Have no fear, Captain. It was abandoned on the Bervixi moon, and by our law, it belongs to you. However, we are fond of the device and wish to regain it through trade. Give us the caster, and we will give you all the fuel your ship can hold. We note you possess the Vortex Spawner. In exchange for the simple device, we will give you 3 Muller starships, and fill your fuel tanks at no extra charge. And fill your fuel tank.
I would like to sell items.
We are prepared to make a deal.
I will sell the egg case fragments to you.
Captain, a special deal. A bargain unequaled. Instead of the usual payment we would give for this item, what would you say to a different exchange? We would like to trade your commodity for a highly valuable precursor artifact, the Rosy Sphere. Its origins are filled with wonder, and its powers are uncontestable, though subtle. What is your response?
I accept this unusual offer.
Ha! You are indeed a wise young human. The Rosy Sphere is yours.
It's actually what we came for. I will sell the Hyperwave Caster to you.
I will buy the Hyperwave Caster. In exchange, you shall receive all the fuel your ship can hold. We are now hooking up the fuel lines to fill your tanks. This will look very bad on my record, Captain. You have hurt me deeply. I had expected an understanding between trading partners, between equals, but no! The moment my back is turned, you fill your bloated tanks far beyond a reasonable limit. I have learned an important lesson from you today. One I shall never forget.
I don't wish to sell anything anymore. I will leave now, because...
Captain. Your patronage is appreciated.
So these guys are actually slave traders, and we could you can trade your crew for things here if you want to be evil. So you can sell your crew to slavery in this game. That's a big yikes. If you do that, you actually are getting chastised for it by the starbase commander, and the crew cost will go up. But we only traded artifacts here, so we are in the good. Alright, so now, 1 hour 30 minutes into the run, we're gonna actually head to our first actual battle. So we're gonna go back to the Mycon space now. So because we made the deal with the Siren, we have to avenge or get revenge on the Mycon for the Siren. So they will help us out with the Ur-Quam. So they gave us the information on a planet that we can use as a lure. So we'll tell the Mycon about this planet that they could plant their deep children into, and then the Siren will ambush them. So usually when we do this kind of stuff, so we like make races move on the map, it's to gain access to some planet that's under their control. So like I said earlier, when you go to a planet and you see like this infinite number of ships, it really is infinite. So you cannot fight your way into the planet, like when we go here. So if I fight here, my only choice is to escape, because I cannot fight infinite number of enemies.
We are the Mycon.
There is a world at the star Organon. I believe it is the perfect for your deep children.
Your suggestion is appropriate. Acceptable new worlds are a priority for the rapid and complete spread of Juffo. We wish to know more for our suitability assessment. Tell us of this world.
Its air is pure and sweet.
This is good.
Abundant life covers its surface.
This is good.
The sun gently warms the surface.
This is good. If your words are true, we will gladly spread Juffo to a new world. We will assemble the birthing fleet and send them to this planet. We will send many ships to protect the children as they grow. You have been of service to us. Your insight into the ineffable Juffo is encouraging. Perhaps, if we were to plant spore sacs in your brain organ and
no
let
thanks.
its tendrils spread through your flesh, then you would truly understand Juffo. Become part of Juffo. You would be happier and more fulfilled. Consider our offer.
Yeah, let's just become Juffo and forget this entire war deal. That sounds way better. So, they are not aggressive at the moment, but I gotta wait. So I waited for the ship to exit the system a little bit, so I don't run into it on my way out. So now that we basically told them to leave, we can go to a planet in their system that was previously guarded by infinite ships. And now it only has 5, so we gotta actually fight the remaining 5. And this is the first fight, which is usually the easiest fight in the run, but why are you here? Fuck off. Sorry. So these are probes that are sometimes in space and in normal and hyperspace. I don't think this thing can kill me, but I'm not gonna talk to it, although it's kind of funny. So the story behind these probes is kind of funny. It's entirely optional though, so I'm not gonna go into it. But you should play the game and find out. Oh no. Crap, I missed the planet and now I gotta deal with this shit again. No, I hit the planet, okay. So I'm gonna save here, just in case. This is the easiest battle, but you can always mess up. So, like I said, they fire these homing plasma spheres. And a curious thing about this is that they can actually hit their self. So, if I use this fast ship, I can guide the shots that they fire so that they will hit their own ship. So this is like a easy fight. If you want to do this really fast, it's of course more risky. I'm gonna play it a little bit safe. I gotta watch its battery when it's ready to fire, so I'm not in the firing line. And then I'll just like guide the shots. Like this. Yeah, like a lot of the lore in this game with the races is actually really interesting. Like they're really well written. Even the siren. I feel like the siren scene you saw might actually be like a Star Trek reference to Captain Kirk's adventures. Because Star Trek's Captain Kirk is kind of known for certain kinds of relationships with alien women, I believe. So that's probably a jab at that. And also it's the 90s, so... games and everything used to be a little bit different back then. Yeah, fictional Amazons in particular. Oh, else, if I had moved a little bit differently. This game was on PC. For the MS-DOS operating system. Alright, we won. Nice. So the fight, I don't think I have to say too much about it. The fight system in this game is pretty easy to figure out. Oh, I skipped the dialogue, the stuff again. I was too worried about the stuff that was trying to destroy my ship. But of course I should have... the game does pause when it happens, so... Okay. Actually, let's have this dialogue. Just...
This probe is programmed to defend against hostile behavior.
Let's just see this because we have time.
New behavior dictated. Must break target into component materials.
So yeah, they come in peace and then they try to break us to pieces. Play the game to find out why. Yeah. Yeah, in 2002 the game was released as open source, so this is the open source version of the game, actually. Which is the version that speedrunners do use. Okay, here. So we got something called the Sun device from that planet. And now we're gonna go to a planet that used to be in Ilrat space. But because we made the Ilrat go away, they're no longer here, and we can actually approach this planet now. And we're gonna find more allies here. And they will explain themselves. Yeah, I actually thought about, when I was doing, like, now that I'm doing this, I actually think it might be a fun idea to do the 100%. To show all the optional content too. If there is interest. So, this is a slave-shielded planet, and we use the Sun device to basically...
we are free.
Well, they're gonna explain it.
You have flooded our synthesis mechanisms with a wealth of radiant energy. What was supposed to take decades has been accomplished in seconds. The process is incomplete, yet we have emerged. We are the Chmer. Who are you?
I am Captain Selnik of the Starship Vindicator.
Why have you interrupted the process?
We struggle to free all races from the Ur-Quam. We need your help.
Your need must be great for you to have risked so much just to bring us from beneath the shield. We were not ready, but this is now in the past. What is done is done. You are intent on stopping the Ur-Quam. Very well. We are prepared to assist you in whatever way we can. We must first tell you that even before we were placed under the slave shield, we realized that the only way to truly defeat the Ur-Quam was to first destroy their precursor battle platform, the Sumatra. This vessel was responsible for the victory of the hierarchy over the Alliance. When it was brought to bear against our worlds, we could not resist it. This must be your priority. This must be your eventual goal. We know what is necessary to achieve this end, but first we must know what you have already learned. So we will scan the databanks and logs aboard your ship. There. The process is complete. Now we can discuss what you must do. You need to locate the Ur-Quam's Sumatra vessel. If you cannot find it yourself, ask those others who are near the Ur-Quam. Perhaps they will know. The Sumatra is sure to be heavily guarded. To allow you to get close enough to the Sumatra, you will have to create some type of diversion. To defeat the Ur-Quam, you must first destroy the Sumatra battle platform. The only way we can envision this occurring is for you to detonate a huge explosive device adjacent to the battle platform at point-blank range. We believe that the only weapon which can generate sufficient destructive force is a matter-antimatter bomb, but we cannot build one ourselves. Return when you have gathered the resources we have described.
So basically he explained what we need to complete the game. You seem to have superior technology. Would you share this with us?
We will provide you with the designs for a new class of fighting ship, the Avatar, along with enough chimera to command however many vessels you may build. Avatar battleships are much more effective than our Broodhome or X-Form vessels. In competent hands, these ships can defeat any ship in space.
I think that's... Alright, farewell, we will be back when we've got everything we need. I skipped the dialogue, sorry. Oh wait, I can still go. Well, he only said that. So we went here, and we can now build the avatars, which is it's a really strong ship, especially notorious among like new players of the like versus mode. So the battle system or the versus mode of this game is based on counter picks. So each player has a fleet. So there's like some matchups that are actually impossible to win. So you just have to lose and then counterpick. And this avatar ship that we're about to build is one of the most notorious ships that is hard to beat. It has a lot of HP, and it has well, you will see it in battle soon. But it's like a close-range ship. But it has these like satellites around it that have automated lasers that hit everything that gets close. And some ships have projectiles that have only one hit point. So like...
I'm at your disposal, Captain. I know you're busy, but I've got some news. We have been invaded by an alien race calling themselves the Ors. Though so far, the invasion is a friendly one. The fish-like creatures have been stomping around the base in their robotic, walking exoskeletons, which look like combat vac suits, if you ask me. Based on the summary reports I've seen on their Nemesis ship design, I have but a single comment. I like it. I'd say we have quite a nasty little surprise in store for the Ur-Quam the next time you tangle with them. Also, a previously unknown alien race has recently made contact with our base. They call themselves the Melnorme, and they're anxious to initiate trading relations with us.
Who?
If we are interested, they suggest making a rendezvous at Alpha Centauri. Also, the Melnorme have returned wondering when you want to meet them. They seem friendly, but they're unwilling to deal with us, claiming that we have no data they consider valuable. They said to make contact with them in any supergiant star system. Also, we have made a formal alliance with the Shimur. Their ships can now be built in our shipyards.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Captain.
Yeah, I don't think that was actually needed dialogue, but okay, now we're gonna sell these. So these, we needed these for the fight for the Mycons, because this is like the best ship in the game to fight them. Again, the counter picking. As you saw, like the Mycon fight, I counter picked the shit out of them. Like they have no chance against the ship. If I am at if I have any level of competence, a Mycon player would have 0 chance of winning the matchup. I'm gonna put a little bit of crew in my main ship just in case we have some issues. That should be enough. And then we just fill our fuel tanks. Should be enough. So we built 2 of the Shimmer ships, and we're gonna use them for the remaining fights before the final fight. And you're gonna see the power of the ship in battle quite soon. Okay, which wormhole was it again? Oh yeah, it's Steam. This one. So, the RRLOL mentioned the talking pet like an hour ago. And they wanted us to check on it and said it's in Umga space. So we're gonna go there now and check on the pet. And well, you'll find out. Yeah, I could have waited 2 days and the natural wormhole would have appeared and we would have saved a few seconds. Which is definitely relevant for the speedrun that takes about 2 hours more because we listen to dialogue. Alright, so once again I'm manual driving because it's faster. You just kind of memorize these like shapes of the star system so you know where to go. So I will save before this fight. It's not hard when you do it. Okay, so let me... Well, I'll explain the fight while I'm doing it, but I'll save first. Because this game has no autosave, so if you die somewhere... I thought this was the Umga homeworld. Who are you?
I am a peaceful creature, a friendly alien life form. The Ur-Quam called us talking pets. Until recently, I was employed on a dreadnought starship as a translator. Then, after the ship suffered severe damage from combat, we crashed at Alpha Pavonis. Miraculously, I survived. I was rescued by an RRLOL4 exploration vessel. The RRLOL, they couldn't heal my most severe injury, so they brought me to the Umga who possess superior bioengineering skills.
But I thought talking pets weren't sentient. You seem smart enough.
Oh, you know about that, do you? Oh, well, I guess that means I'll have to kill you now. I can't permit you to reveal my transformation. Ur-Quam might find out, and then my plans for revenge will be ruined. Well, I tried to spare your life, Captain, but you were just too curious. So now, seek death at the hands of your enemy. Aye-ya! I cannot compel you. Your mind is closed to me. How can this be? I am forced to resort to more primitive measures. Umga Commander, summon your 10 combat ships and attack this intruder instantly.
This guy from Texas. Okay, so this is a fight against 10 of these ships. They are really slow, but their special attack is to reverse really fast, so you can see it zip around. So what makes this fight annoying is that my beam does not go through the animator cone of these enemies. So if I am trying to attack them from the front, I can't do any damage. So I'll have to use the tractor beam of my ship to try to pull them in a way that I can hit them in the flanks. So this is like kind of a weird fight. It's actually really hard to do really fast. I'm doing it a little bit slow just to be safe, because you can die. They do a lot of damage if you get caught in the cone. And they have really low mass, so if I pull them with the tractor beam, they fly really fast. So controlling them with the tractor beam is quite tricky, especially because you have to hit their flanks. And there you see they use the special, so each ship has like a special attack, and main attack. So their special attack is to zip backwards really fast. That's like one of the hardest chips to control in the game as well. Like, if you are good with Umga, it's a really good chip because it's cheap. So in the like versus mode, chips have costs. So like you build your fleet from a certain number of points, and that chip is really cheap. It's really hard to use, but if you're good with it, you can get a lot of value out of it. But it's really hard because controlling the zipping and getting close to the enemy with the zipping is hard. And you're like it's the most close range ship in the game. Also, as you can see, if my satellites go into the cone, they die really fast. Okay, so this is how you die in this fight. But we have 2 ships, because I suck at the video game. So we can lose one here. If I lose another one, then I'll have to load. So I'm gonna play even safer with the second ship. Like, a good strat if you want to just go safe is to float backwards. And when they start to turn, then you pull them in. But a fast strat is to try to pull them so that they fly like sideways past you and hit them with the laser. I'm not good at this fight at all. Alright, so that's 10 of them.
Hi there, friendly Starship Captain. You'll never believe this, but somehow the injuries I suffered when the Ur-Quam crashed triggered some kind of a personality transformation. I became evil and spiteful, cruel and nasty, whimsically unpleasant. You may have also noticed I gained some kind of temporary psychic powers. Well, I just want to let you know I'm cured, Captain.
Sure.
I don't know exactly how, but when you were fighting those Umga ships, a chunk of the ceiling fell down on my head and gave me quite a whack. Ouch, oochie, it still hurts. When I awoke, the universe had ceased to be the dark and hostile place I had previously thought it to be. Instead, I was overwhelmed, yes, even awed by the beauty and perfection of it all. I also discovered that I had completely lost those wicked mental powers and can now look forward to a new life filled with happiness, butterflies, and goodwill for all. Your job is done, Captain. You have saved me. Now you can safely remove your psychic protection device and leave. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, why are you looking at me like that, Captain? Don't you believe me? You question my word? Okay, so I was lying. Big deal. So what? Boy, are you a pain. Do you know that? What do you want from me? My life? Oh, you do? Well, as an alternative, let me make this little suggestion. If you don't kill me, I'll help you do whatever you wish. Is it a deal, Captain?
Alright, this is definitely my favorite of the voice acting. This guy fucking nailed it. What kind of a deal, Talking Pet? Provide details.
I get the basic idea. You want to overthrow the Ur-Quam. Bravo! Good idea. Way to go. I, too, wish to see the Ur-Quam beaten, humiliated, destroyed, and I alone possess the unique ability that will help you achieve your goal. I can use my psychic powers to temporarily distract the Ur-Quam, confuse them for a few seconds. Presumably, you will use this moment to strike a lethal blow against the Ur-Quam. Such a plan cannot fail, Captain. We must see to that.
You tried to kill me. Your words are lies. How can I possibly trust you?
Captain, calm down. Be reasonable. Listen to me. I am nothing more than a single being, hardly larger than one of your Earth dogs. Woof woof. My only weapon, my weak psychic abilities, have been nullified by your protective device. I am harmless, but perhaps I can be of some small service to you. Consider this my hopeful attempt to compensate you for all the trouble I've caused you in the past. In the past, Captain, and now we look to the future, to victory over the evil Ur-Quam. I am your secret weapon against these tyrants, Captain. Don't leave me here.
I know what you are, evil creature. You are lying, boneless dweeb.
Yes,
Not a
Captain,
weeb.
I am a lying, boneless toady dweeb, but I am your lying, boneless toady dweeb.
Alright, I agree, but any tricks and you'll be sucking vacuum.
No tricks, Captain. No tricks. I fear you cruelly misjudge me. I am on your side now. Together we will make a great team, Captain. This day, this moment, shall go down forever in the history of our galaxy. I am coming aboard your ship now. I will make a nest in the pressurized section of your ship's hold. When you wish to talk with me, I will be there.
Alright, so we got this guy. This race that he is from actually has a really interesting history that you can find out by playing the game. Because the lore of this game is actually like really well thought out. And while the dialogue is really goofy, it's also like just really good. Okay, our next objective. So we need that guy to distract the Ur-Quam. Like I said earlier, if we don't remove obstacles, we would have to fight infinite enemies. So that guy will help us get rid of an infinite amount of enemies that we would otherwise have to fight. So our next objective is, this is related to us sending the, well, no, this is not actually directly related to the Ilrat being sent here, but if they would get here before us, then they would solve this problem for us. But we're gonna meet another race, and we need once again something from a planet in their region. And so we kind of wanna get rid of them so they don't have infinite ships surrounding the planet. And I hope to see some of them in the space, but there's no one. Let me actually check the planet, because sometimes, I don't know, when I was doing practice yesterday, the place was already empty even though I hadn't talked to them. Actually, I need to save, so if there is infinite enemies, I can still get away. Okay, so there are, I will just flee. They don't do a lot of damage, so okay, so we gotta go back to space and talk to one of them before we can come here. So if you like take too long and the Ilrat get here, they are too occupied with fighting the Ilrat to actually have any guards on the planet anymore. So usually I try to, like, if you do a speedrun, you usually want to meet one of them on the way here, so you can talk to them. But for some reason we were unlucky, and there's no one. There's still no one. So while you're in space, time passes quite fast, and we're just kind of waiting here for one of them to appear. Please, today. Thank you. So it's a slowish probe. I know it's not a probe, it's one of them. So we gotta talk to these guys. We want them to leave the territory.
So, what's this? An unknown alien species. How wonderful! Someone new to fight. We, the Tradash of Culture 19, famous Ur-Quam combat thralls, know well the value of a good fight. Either you win and prove your superiority, or you lose and are vanquished. If the vanquished is lucky, it may survive to learn an important lesson from its defeat. This is the way of the Tradash. We fight and learn and improve. All other cultural schemes are inferior. This is a proven fact. What have you to say before we begin combat?
What can you tell us of your species? Is it 1, 2, I don't know. Tradash of Culture 19. We sense a bit of hostility here. Why?
Hostility? Har, har, har. We are not hostile. Hostility is unwarranted aggression. If you want to know about hostility, let us tell you about Culture 12. Culture 12 was so hostile that while they were on their way to their first great battle, Ur-Quam, the Battle Master, stepped on Nusko the Tactician's foot, causing him great pain. The annoyed Nusco turned on his battlemaster, Jugka, and sliced his body in half. This meant Jugka's troops, who took it upon themselves to murder Nusco and his elite troops. The real trouble started when now dead Ur-Quam Master Sergeants, Mood and Putt, started arguing about how to kill Nusco. Simple crucifixion or the slower lead tattoo technique. The argument was resolved when Mood and his 500 troops were slaughtered by Putt and his gang. Well, this probably all would have gone down in history as a great day of learning for Culture 12, were it not for the surprise arrival of Culture 12's original enemy, the Yajag and his cronies, who wiped out Culture 12's army, thus beginning the long and glorious Culture 13. Now that's hostility. We, on the other hand, merely want to kill.
Thanks for the clarification. So what can you tell us of your species?
Talk, bah. Talk is more
Okay, I should have picked this option first.
Weaklings like those of Culture 14. For 10,000 years, we Dradash have fought and died, learned and improved. Then, along came Culture 14, which claimed that all this perfect method was wrong. That each time we violently transformed to a new culture, we inevitably blasted ourselves back at least 500 years in development. Some people just cannot accept the cost of progress. Indeed, the foolishness of Culture 14's peaceful whining was revealed when they were conquered by Culture 15 after only a 10-year reign. And did the change to Culture 15 set us back 500 years? No, 2, maybe 300 years tops. The short span of Culture 14's reign is objective proof that as a way of life, peace is a failure.
So violent, Rhino dudes. What more can you tell us about your Culture 19?
What? More talk? It amazes me that you ever got out of the orbit of your home planet. Yak, yak, yak. Yammer, yammer, yammer. Very well, we will talk for a moment. Our Culture 19 is the most formidable ever to appear in Dradash space. Admittedly, we said something similar about Culture 18, but it is true. With our rather swift defeat by the Ur-Quam and subsequent enslavement, we realized that it was time for a change. A new culture had to be established. So of course, we began a thermonuclear exchange to decide who would lead this new culture. We were all quite disappointed when the Ur-Quam in orbit above our homeworld launched waves of fighters who intercepted all our missiles. The Ur-Quam explained that slaves were not permitted to engage in such destructive conflicts. So my people, being superior, introduced a super lethal poison into our opponent's water and air, thus ending the conflict. The Ur-Quam were not particularly happy about this resolution, and killed all our leaders, which, under other circumstances, would have started a larger inter-Dradash war. But the Ur-Quam appointed new leaders, apparently chosen at random, and explained that further disobedience would result in the destruction of our species. Frustrating, huh?
You mentioned the Ur-Quam. What is your relationship with them?
A foolish question. We are their slaves, dolt. What else would we be? When the Ur-Quam first appeared in our space, over 50 years ago, coming from the direction of the Ophiuchi stars, we attacked them with gusto, zipping in to fire our Mark 6 blasters, and then theoretically zipping back out to prepare for another attack run. Unfortunately, before we could zip out, our ships were either blasted to smithereens by the Ur-Quam's fusion bolts, or were picked apart by the swarms of Ur-Quam fighter vessels. You may wonder why we didn't use our afterburners to escape. The answer is simple. 50 years ago, our ships had not yet been modified for this enhancement. It was not until 2143 that maintenance engineer Rion invented the afterburner effect. When he accidentally stuck his cigar in the aft fuel valve of the ship he was working on. Waboom! The ship took off like a barn out of hell, and Rion was fried to a crisp. Yes, we remember Rion with much fondness. Of course, we have refined the device, and now that our entire fleet has been fitted with the Rion afterburners, perhaps now the Ur-Quam will let us fight at their side as true battle thralls.
Why didn't you fight against the Alliance, and where are the Ur-Quam?
We wanted to. Oh, how we wanted to! After all, we were the first battle thralls the Ur-Quam enslaved in this part of space. We thought we had priority, but the Ur-Quam thought we were too weak to hold our own in the upcoming battles, so they left us here to guard the flank. If only we had been stronger and less troublesome. Another reason the Ur-Quam wouldn't take us with them was because we kept picking fights with the new battle slaves, like the Undablabis or those religious idiots, the Ilrath. Where did they go, you ask? This is a secret, of course. We can't tell you. If we told you that they were fighting a secret war against a mysterious invader, you might find some way to use that information against our masters. So forget it. No secrets.
Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't you go impress your Ur-Quam Masters and show off your afterburner modification by attacking the Ur-Quam's enemy?
What foolish stupidity! Why, that's as dumb an idea as... What did you say? Attack the Ur-Quam's enemy? Help them win their war? Why, that's an excellent idea. I'm glad I thought of it. We shall marshal our forces and leave at once. Stupid, human, pitiful, weakling dog. You have been helpful. So as a reward, you may leave alive. And when we return from our glorious campaign, we may even honor you with a retelling of the many great battles we shall certainly win. Until then, get lost!
Alright, so we made them think that they should go somewhere else. And now we can actually go to the planet I tried to go earlier. And we're gonna find another device from here. This is kind of the pattern we do, like we just need to get rid of people so we can go to the planets and rob the place clean. Alright, report from surface. Captain, we have discovered some sort of alien shrine here on the surface. The building is immensely old, at least 2000 years. Inscribed around the perimeter of the cylindrical shrine are the innumerable hieroglyphs, which document the history of each of the 19 Trados cultures. From what we have seen, we have learned that the Trados have risen to starfaring technology at least 3 separate times, only to nuke themselves back into the Stone Age again and again. The real surprise, Captain, was what we found inside the shrine. We knew the Trados kept something down here, but we didn't know what it was, until we went inside the shrine. In the exact middle of the structure was a tall dais of white stone. Set atop this dais was an immense aqua gemstone, somehow shaped into a flat twisted ribbon, like a DNA helix. The aqua helix emitted incredible light pulses, illuminating the cavernous shrine like a giant strobe light, at least it did. Until Private Hendricks decided to see what would happen if he grabbed the artifact. The helix immediately ceased glowing and has remained quiescent ever since. We will bring the aqua helix back on board the ship for further investigation. So that's another mystery artifact that we don't really know what it does. Like the light stick we got. And also... the rosy sphere we got from the slave traders. Alright, so now we're gonna head back to our actually last destination before the final battle. Well, basically the last quest destination. So we're gonna meet one last race. Nice, one actually spawned out here. This is actually really good luck. If you don't see one here, you actually... Oh wait, this is fucking broke. Never mind. Luck is bad. As long as we don't die. Extremely lucky, yeah. So, if we don't see one here in space, they are kind of like what we are looking for is kind of fast, so they are about the same speed as the probe. If I don't see one in space, I'll just go to this planet, because this is their home system. So we gotta talk to them.
Greetings, fellow carbon creatures. May your roots always be well watered.
So this is your neighborhood, huh? Any other sentients nearby?
We share this region of space with the Utwig, the wearers of masks. We have a strong cultural bond with the Utwig. They have been the foundation around which we have grown our starfaring culture. We are not only allies, but we are also friends. You should go meet with them. They could use some excitement. You see, they are a little depressed and morose right now. Usually they are most festive and fun.
Oh dear, what has caused the Utwig such distress?
They broke their Ultron.
Ultron? What's an Ultron?
The Druge, the cruel, foul trading race who sold the device to the Utwig, called the device the Ultron, and claimed that it would give the Utwig superpowers. Unfortunately, the Utwig believed the Druge and bought the Ultron. However, the device did make the Utwig very happy. Of course, we didn't tell them what we really thought of the Ultron. That they were vapid fools to buy a piece of junk for a planet's ransom. We went along with the falsehood, and in doing so showed our own stupidity. Then, one sad day a few years ago, the Utwig Proctor dropped the Ultron during a particularly energetic and festive ritual. Now the Utwig are morose and depressed. They feel they cannot ever achieve greatness because they lost the powers of the Ultron. They even gave the broken device to us, saying that they couldn't stand the sight of it anymore. We are worried that the Utwig are so depressed that they may use their ultimate weapon. Here, you take the Ultron. Maybe you can do something with it.
Thanks. What do I do with it?
We thought that if we could get the Ultron working again, it would cheer them up. So, we tried to figure out how to fix the darn thing, or at least get some of the flashing bits working again. But for all the Druge's falsehoods, the Ultron is some kind of artifact, and we could not synthesize the necessary replacement parts. Perhaps on your journeys, you will find the elements necessary to repair the Ultron. Then you could give it to the Utwig, and maybe they wouldn't be so depressed.
Alright, so we gotta fix this device. Luckily, we have the parts. So the 3 mystery artifacts are the parts we need to fix the thingy. Actually, while I'm here, I'll fill the crew of the Avatar because we're gonna need it for a fight. Yeah, don't tell them you're vegetarian if you are. Probably won't like it. I think it might cause a bit of an incident. Okay, so we have to go to the Utwig space now and find one of them. So this is actually another piece of small RNG. And this time we just gotta wait in space until we find one. And if I find one more probe, well, actually, at this point we can just use the the avatars to kill the probes actually, so they're not that big of a deal. Alright, so here is Eldwig.
I suppose as a courtesy I should extend an appropriate greeting. On behalf of the Utwig Proctors, I truly hope for your sake that your day has been better than ours, although this really isn't saying that much.
Hey guys, guess what we've got? We've got the Ultron. Wanna see it?
Yeah! Should I set my gaze upon such a sight, I might suffer sleepless nights for years on end. It is a symbol of the collective Utwig failure. It is our ultimate tragedy. Ah! Every divot, every crack on its surface is etched forever in my soul. Remove it from my sight, lest I purge my... Hey! That is not the devastated Ultron. It is the image of the Ultron before. A trick? A trick? Oh! I had no idea that any species could sink so low. How dare you try to manipulate me with that cheap stage prop? Why, it's not even... Hey! Wait a second. It looks like... Can it be? Yes! It is! A miracle! Oh, happy day! Joyous occasion! You have our eternal thanks, good Captain. You will be immortalized as the blessed figure that delivered unto us our future. We will revere your very likeness. Let me take the Ultron. Yes, I feel the link, the knowledge, and the power. It seems that there is much to do. Indeed, it seems that you should proceed to the second moon of the sixth planet of Zeta Hyades and take what you find there. We no longer have need for it, but the Ultron reveals that you will. I thank you for your part in the grand scheme. We now recover that which is ours via destiny and proceed to perform our essential service for the universe. But wait! The Ultron throbs and whistles. Matters of significance are being relayed to our brains. It has been so long since we communicated with the Ultimate in such a manner, but slowly the truth is revealed. Our destiny. We have been directed to join with our Supux allies and attack you. No, wait, that's wrong. Sorry. We attack your enemies, the Ur-Quam and the Ur-Quam. No, that's not right either. What? Oh, okay. We must strike only the black ships, only the Ur-Quam. Now, Captain, we must leave to prepare our battle fleets. Wish us luck.
Alright, so we made new friends, and they also know where we could find a nice little bomb. So, sixth planet and its moon. So there you can once again see how the game tells you where to go. And the Druze that we were trading before, they kind of want this bomb. So they are here. And we gotta fight them for it. And this fight is... You can lose this fight really fast, so that's why I'm saving. But their ship is basically like a cannon. So when it fires, it flies backwards. And if I mess up... So because my idea is to pull it and then destroy it with my melee attacks. But if I get a bad trajectory, they will just continuously fire and propel themselves away from me, and I will die really fast. So my goal here is to abuse the fact that this game's ships can only face 16 directions, and I'll try to make it think that it has to turn. And when it starts to turn, because it turns slowly, that's when I pull it in, and then I'll wreck it, as you can see me doing here. So I just want to get into the dead angle, and then when it starts to turn, I will pull it in. Okay, this is a really bad starting position. So like this. So we just abuse the fact that ships can only face 16 angles and destroy them. Oh, that went really well actually. You can die in that fight really fast. Because they do a lot of damage and they fire quite fast too. So here's the bomb. We found a huge precursor device on the planet's surface, a giant black cylinder set within a simple defensive grid. We have already neutralized the grid. Well, actually Jenkins just drove through it by accident, but that seemed to work, okay. The artifact is covered with precursor script, and although we can't translate all of the writing, it is pretty clear that it is a warning, repeated again and again. The energy output of this artifact is scary. It rivals all of our ship's engines at redline. If I may be bold, Captain, I would advise that we not experiment with this device until we are back at the starbase. We shall now return to the ship with the black cylinder device carefully stowed in the cargo area. So that's the last piece we need to destroy the battle station Sumatra. So basically we have the bomb that can blow the thing up. And we have the talking pet that can distract the Ur-Quam long enough that we can do the thing. So now we're gonna go to the Shimmer one last time, and they will fit the bomb into our ship, and this will initiate the end game. Because once they put the bomb on our ship, we lose 10 of our 16 upgrade slots. And we will gain infinite resources, so we can build as many ships and things as we want. But we have the bomb in our ship, so we cannot do much exploration anymore. Well, you'd think that, but of course we are only using like 5 slots of our 16.
You are ready. You are fully prepared for the undertaking. There is every chance that you will be able to destroy the Sumatra and stop both the Ur-Quam and the Ur-Quam.
Oh, very well. Proceed with the modifications.
The completion date for your vessel's modification is roughly 2 weeks hence, so that you and your human companions may make any necessary preparations at your starbase. We will now transport you and your crew back to Earth immediately. Good luck, Captain.
And we're in the endgame.
Ah, Captain, I'm glad you're back. Before we proceed, I wanted you to know, a race of plant creatures called the Supocs have arrived in your absence, Captain. They offered use of their ship designs and will supply you as many starship captains as we require. I, of course, accepted their offer immediately. Also, a small contingent of Utwig has visited. After spending a few days setting up our fabricators to build their Jugger starships and providing us with a few capable commanders, they departed. Captain, if you continue to build such strong alliances, we will surely win our battle against the Ur-Quam. Also, we've detected a minute but measurable disturbance in the inner space fabric at approximate true space coordinate 100 by 50. Our scientists speculate that this disturbance may be caused by many thousands of hyperwarp penetrations, all in phase, as though a huge fleet of ships were on the move. Also, in the log of your voyage from Unserwald, I read that you encountered a tumbling red probe that attacked the Tober moon, killing Captain Burton. Over the past few months, we have monitored an increasing number of these probes entering the system, and I'm afraid their population seems to be growing geometrically. If this continues, in a year, space will be crawling with these things. I recommend you treat this as a serious problem now, before it becomes a disaster. Discover who is producing these probes and stop them from creating any more. Also, in the 2 weeks that have passed since the Shimmer began to work on your vessel, they attached the Utwig bomb to your ship and have also put in place their own crystalline amplification devices to boost dramatically the power of the weapon. This work is now complete and your flagship is ready for whatever final modifications you desire. The Chimera technicians wanted me to explain to you that the bomb and its crystal power boosters are fragile and cannot be moved from their positions at the back of your vehicle. Now I have some bad news and some good news. The Chimera had to remove all your main modules, weapons, crew pods, and the whole lot, including your emergency warp escape unit, so pick your engagements carefully, Captain. In addition, their equipment now fills the rear 10 slots, leaving you only 6 for your own modules. But here's the good news. The Chimera have provided us with an unbelievable wealth of minerals and other resources. We no longer have limits on what we can build for your flagship or your fleet.
Sounds good.
Goodbye. We're all depending on you. Goodbye, and good luck.
So yeah, we gotta outfit our ship from the scratch again, and we only have 6 slots, but we only need 2. The crew pod is technically optional if you wanna really go hard, but we're gonna get a crew pod so we have more than 1 person inside our ship, so we don't die to some random stuff like 40. Then we're gonna build a fleet of these. So if you are going for a really good time, you would build like 2 or 3 of these and just go with that. But the last battle is kind of hard, and it has sort of like, unless you are a god in this game, it has a lot of RNG, kind of. So because this is a marathon run, I'm gonna build like 8 of these ships. So if I lose a couple, it's not a big deal. But like a good run, I would go for like 2-3 ship victory. You'll see why the battle can be hard when I get there. So I'll build like 1 more of these. I'll leave the one I have at 36 crew, that's probably enough. Then I'll build 2 of these. So this ship is one of the new allies we got. So yeah, our ship can have 50 crew. These have more right now. They're quite big. But like you can, for your own ship, you can have like more crew pod modules. So you could have like 200 crew if you wanted, if you have 4 modules. And you can actually make this flagship really OP if you trade a lot of technology and build a lot of combat modules. This ship becomes an absolute beast, but we don't have the kind of time that would take, so we're just gonna fight with the fleet we have instead. But if you play casually, you can make this flagship like super OP. And here we are. This is the final battle.
I sense the presence of my ancient slaves. It is time, Captain.
Alright, employ your powers, confuse the Ur-Quam.
Okay, now, whatever you do, once I've started, don't leave the star system. We only got 1 chance at this. Let's make it good. Here I go. Oh.
Love the last sound there. So he makes that ring of enemies go away. And while that is something we could fight through, the platform itself also had infinite enemies before this. And now it only has 6. I'm just gonna say 1 more time. Actually, so here we are. We gotta fight the big bads. And this ship we are gonna use is really good for these fights. So this ship is probably the most OP ship in the game. It has a force shield that gains energy when it's hit, so it converts damage into battery. Normally, everything like uses battery in this game, so you can see the battery meter there. But this ship's normal attack doesn't use battery, but the shield does. And the ship doesn't regenerate battery at all, except by getting hit. So I can use this force field, as long as I'm taking damage while I'm shielded, I can use it infinitely. You cannot use it while you're firing, so you gotta be a little bit careful, like this. But basically I'm like almost entirely immortal as long as I don't make mistakes. And I'm dead angling it now, so even though it tries, it cannot find a vector to shoot at me. So I can just shoot at it instead. So I'm abusing the 16 angles there, so it cannot even fire at me. And my beams are wide, so they hit. Or the projectiles I'm firing. So the black ships leave these like spinning blades that act as mines. You gotta be a little bit careful when you fight them. The worst thing that can happen in these battles is actually if the enemy gets into the planet's gravity field, because that will give them a lot more speed, and they are really annoying to like fight around if they have the speed from the planet. And there I just dead angled the enemy again. And this is the last one of these. So I'm going pretty well. How long is left? About, I don't know, like 10 minutes at most. Like probably 5-10 minutes. And it's not that long, unless I die. We only have this one fight and one die,
Okay,
and then the ending. Well, the timing comes like 5 minutes, say 5 minutes.
Attack the vessel itself. So listen closely. The Sumatra is protected by a thick shell of fused asteroids, reinforced with a weak stasis field. You'll never break through that. The only opening through the asteroid shield is covered with a powerful force screen. One touch of that screen, you're history, Captain. To destroy the Sumatra, you'll have to destroy the shield generators embedded in the asteroid shell. To drop the force screen, you'll have to destroy all 8 of them. When the screen is down, bring in your flagship, move into the asteroid shell, and then press the big red button on your controls. That starts the detonation sequence. Your escape pod will eject automatically. Just hope you're far enough away before that ship blows. Okay, human, this is it. The last battle, your final moment of triumph. Don't screw up. In case you're wondering, I'm not going with you, Captain. I'm staying on board. Why, you ask? Because I'm locked in here, you idiot! Get me out! Help! Help!
No, we're gonna leave our friend to explode with the ship. That's cruel. Alright, so here we go. We gotta hit those red blobs, and it's firing these like green spheres. That if the green spheres touch me, they will bump me away a lot. So basically, even though we are supposed to attack these, my main goal is to fire this green. You can see how much they block me, or they bump me off. If I get bumped off, this fight gets a lot more annoying, as you can see, because it fires more of the green things. So now I'm just gonna fight my way back in. And then the fireballs are what does damage a lot. So, and the problem with this fight is the dead angles that we abused to get here, and now they're kind of turning against me. Because if these green things dead angle my laser, I have a really hard time hitting them or destroying them. They have like 12 hit points. So this is why the fight can become really hard. If it gets you pushed off once, it's really hard to get back, because the space gonna be filled with the green spheres. Like, it's just, they have a lot of HP. And if they dead angle me, I have a hard time getting them out of here. I'm dead. This is why I brought more than 3 ships. But for a really fast time, you don't want to get pushed away at all. But it's kind of hard to do with the dead angle stuff. I'll try to go from the other side. There's like 4 of them again, so it's really hard. Like, wrapping around is not that useful either, because it will just come at you from the other side. I think we're dead. I have one of them. Even if I lose all of these ships, the chugger ships that I use to kill the gods can actually win this fight too, but it takes forever. But they cannot lose. You'll win, but it will take a year. So even if you run out of ships, these ships, we can still win, but ideally it doesn't come to that. Okay, and there we go. So now there's no fireballs around. I'll check just to be safe. So once, so timer's coming up. Once I drive my ship to the opening, it's time. So pretty much 3, 2, 1, time. And because we have time, we're gonna watch all the ending cutscenes. There is the actual ending, and then there's some funny, like, just like joke dialogue from all the races you can meet. Alright, narrator voice time. When I awoke, there was an angel floating above me. I knew I was dead. But if one has to die, I thought to myself, this was definitely the right way to be dead. That was about the time I heard Talana's voice, telling me to stop babbling and listen for a moment. She told me that the escape pod had almost been torn in half. I had been unconscious for over 3 weeks. But my crew and I had succeeded in our mission. The force of explosion, amplified by the shimmer crystals, had been sufficient to vaporize the Sumatra. And following the destruction of the Sumatra battle platform, the fleets of the Ur-Quam and the Kohra had fallen into chaos, and had been vanquished by the Shimmer forces and allied starships. Pentalana told me to sit up. She said there was something she thought I'd like to see. I pulled myself up and looked around. I was in sick bay of the starbase, looking out over Earth. Beneath me dropped the sick red glow of the Ur-Quam slave shield. Talana smiled and said that for the past few days, the Shimmer had been working on lowering the shield, and that it should be neutralized right about now. With a flare of incandescent light, the slave shield vanished. And for the first time in my life, I saw the true colors of Earth. Blues, greens in 1,000 different shades. As we watched, we could see the first signs of ships coming up from Earth. They lifted from the planet's surface to join us in space. The destiny of mankind had been delayed for over 20 years, but now our world was free and nothing could stop us. I stayed in that hospital for almost a month. But that day I watched the shield fall and the beautiful Talana stood at my side. I'll never forget that day. Not for the rest of my life. But grandfather, then what happened? Yeah, how did you get home? How long did it take before you and Grandma finally got married? Oh, well, we intended to come right home. We got a little sidetracked. Alana and I didn't make it back here to Unselwald until almost 5 years later. But grandfather, what happened? Where did you go? And how did you find the Mark II? That, my children, is an entirely different story. Which unfortunately was never made by the people who made this game. So... Alright, so this, unfortunately this dialogue is not voiced, but we can have it played on in the background. Yeah, we never got that sequel, we got instead Star Control 3 made by another team. And it was a far cry from what it could have been. Sadly, these dialogues are not voiced, that would be fun, but these are kind of funny. I'll just let them play on the background, because I think we have time until the next runner. But yeah, thanks for watching. It was a fun time. I feel like it's like 50 minutes of gameplay, and like 2 hours of these dialogue scenes. So, hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, I might consider the 100% for Lore Marathon 5. Also, we got a montage of the game's music here at the end as well. That's great. So yeah, this was like one of the games I grew up with, so that's why I turned out this way. I was like 10 years old when this game was released. 100%, I don't actually know. I think it would be maybe like 5-6 hours, because there would be a lot more dialogue. Because we didn't even meet all of the races. But yeah, like I said, actually, like this game, you should play it. It's free, it's open source. And like playing this game the intended way of figuring out where everything is and following hints is really interesting, and you do it while gathering resources and making your ship more and your fleet more powerful. Yeah, for 100% we also had to like consider if we would include all the dialogue that we don't have to listen to. We could make it like a full 100% law that we go through all the dialogue options, except the ones that make the enemies mad or like kill us. Don't eat dogs. Yeah. I think we are about a few minutes from ending entirely, so if we have the next runner up, they can start to prepare. If we're not, then I guess there will be some filler task or something. The first game is really different, by the way. It's like the first game is like a strategy game where you have the same battle system. I think the first game was fine, and of course the melee battle is great. We never met this guy, but this guy's really funny. his quest is also something. This is the best. This is my favorite song in the game. This is really good. The game's soundtrack actually has an interesting story as well. So they had a competition. So the soundtrack is actually made by a bunch of mod music artists that sent their submissions for a competition. And it's like, for its time, this is like really highly acclaimed soundtrack. And it still holds up, of course. It's a really good soundtrack. Hoogie Woogies. Well, they definitely deserve to be talking about it because it's really good. Submit or die. Also, one of the other guys we didn't meet. This is how I feel like when I try to pronounce some of these words. Alright, I think this is the last scene, so get ready to get to an intermission. But yeah, so thanks once again for watching and listening, mostly listening I guess. I hope you enjoyed it. I normally run RPGs, so if you are into RPG speedruns, you can always drop me a follow. My Twitch handle is Ankwolf, because Ank was taken. I think that's all from me, so once production is ready, we can go back to intermission. Peace out.